Sunday afternoon where the Buccaneers and Baker head to Detroit to take on
Oh
the
my God.
Lions. Yes, the Lions do play in a dome. The Bucs are 6.5-point underdogs.
Cookie?
It's crazy that we gonna have. I mean, and shout out to the Bucks and Lions, but it's crazy we're gonna have drag off of Baker Mayfield in the NFC. Like that's what I look. That's what I look at this at. Like this is crazy.
It's the Twilight Zone.
Hey, shout out to the Bucks, man. I mean, you've been talking about the Bucks all year. When me, Keith, and Stowe ain't believing them, you was like you've been saying they was a dangerous team. They dangerous team. They started out well this year, then they started playing. They went through that rough stretch, and now they playing with confidence. Baker Mayfield was playing with a lot of confidence. And that offensive coordinator, he needs a head coaching job. That's what he needs. He needs a head coaching job. He should
after him and Geno Smith, after Baker and Geno, hell yeah.
He had a lot of interviews last year, but this is the year where he's gonna get a job. Especially, he proved that with the play call, just like that Packers game, players are running wide open. I don't know if that's the Eagles players quitting or whatever, what type of Matt Patricia calling the plays. We'll talk about that because that was a ridiculous decision to make him defensive coordinator in the middle of the season. But the Bucs are running wide open, and Baker was hitting them. It was time to play. Defense showed up. Shout out to the Bucs. I definitely give them a chance to go in because of that defense. They may be the drag off of them down, and the way the Bucs playing. But I like the Lions. I think the Lions is too. Drag off play well. They have too much offensively. It's hard to stop them. Besides that Ravens game and maybe another game with Jared Goff struggle, the Lions haven't been slowed down this year, really. They really haven't. So in a home, that crowd gonna show up. That crowd was loud last week against the Rams. They were very, very loud. That's a big factor for them. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a good game. I think this one gonna be one games also that maybe come down to whoever had the ball last, a shoot 'em out game. Because we all know the Lions defense is not that, so they're gonna give up some points. But yeah, give me the Lions at home. Just that crowd. I cannot choose Baker Mayfield on the road in the playoffs. I'm not going to do that.
He said, I ain't doing it.
But like you said with Joel, I'm not going to be surprised if they win the game. They playing well, and Todd Bowles, he coaching them well. They playing very well. That defense is that Bucs defense playing lights out right now.
Speaking of the Bucs defense and Todd Bowles, under his leadership in 2023, they've only given up 150 team rushing yards on 3 different occasions. That's not easy to do. Their run defense is quite stout. So if you think about if they're able to limit the Lions' run game with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, that play action that Goff relies on, it becomes a little less effective. And if you're asking him just to strictly drop back, that's playing into the Bucs' hands. Yeah. To Key's point, though, I think the Lions just have too much. Like, not only do they know how to get all of their playmakers involved, they do it quite frequently. So you never have to really see Amon-Ra St. Brown not get the ball, like a CeeDee Lamb didn't get the ball last game in their playoff game. He's going to get his touches, his 10 targets. Pencil that in. Sam Laporta, even on one leg, hobbled as he is, they made sure to get him the ball. David Montgomery and Jahmyr, they figure out a way in which we can use both of you and make sure that both of you are getting 15 to 20 touches in the cadence in which you need them. David, we're going to use you up the middle. We're going to use you as our grinder, our bruiser. And don't get me wrong, Jahmyr, we're going to have you run on sweeps. We're going to have you do stretches, zone runs. We're going to use you in the pass game, screens. Especially when we get in that red zone too, you never know what's coming out of the line just because Jahmyr is a weapon in multifacets. And when they get close, you can use David Montgomery as the hammer. And if you play the run, we're doing play action and we're throwing it to Sam Laporta. It gets surgical, and then you have Dan Campbell, who has them believing since day one, since he came into the building talking about biting kneecaps. He's had them revved up and charged up, and it's crazy thinking about the Lions making a NFC championship. But after that Rams win, which was I thought that Rams game was an excellent game, and it sucked that it had to be decided by injury and stuff like that. But both teams, they played a hell of a game, and so I think if the Lions win this game, they definitely deserve to be where they are. And to Keys' point, we talk about how they look versus the Ravens. Don't worry, it ain't an AFC team.
Right.
They good against the NFC. Just don't see us in the Super Bowl. It might get ugly.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna cover McVay, but McVay got same thing, getting that red zone and don't run the ball. I don't get it. I don't understand it. He been doing it all year. You got the 2-yard line, you throw the ball 3 straight times. I don't understand it. I don't understand.
We'll get to him.